What's up, y'all? So today is just a work day at the farm. We are just going to be working, so no fishing today. We're gonna go run some traps and who knows what else. So let's go. Here we are. I think I'm done working. I may just be taking a break. I'm not really sure because we may leave for lunch, but I'm going to try to catch a fish in the pond. So just catch a few bluegill. May go up to the bass pond if I feel like it or if we have time. So I didn't come with the intention of fishing. So that's why I don't have my normal rod and reel with me, because I didn't bring it because I didn't think I was going to be fishing. So here we are. Gonna see if I can. So we moved the feeder, so I'm not even sure if they're still right here, because they're usually where the feeder is, and that's, I don't think you can see the feeder. It's back here out of the screen. So this is backwards. I'm gonna change this so it's not backwards real fast. Okay. It's mostly little ones up here close to the bank, so I just reel it in once I get to a certain depth. Of course, right, like literally as soon as I press the button, I have one. It's a small one, I think. Not too bad. Hybrid between a bluegill and a green sunfish. So, number one. It's pretty, but it's also pretty small. So, we are going to try to catch a bigger one. Maybe we'll catch a catfish, who knows. They're in here somewhere. So I have become convinced that these fish are not super smart. I am going to, obviously, they're not biting it all the way because a lot of them are too small anyway. So I'm going to put on some fish bites. Those always work, always do the trick if the little tiny jig isn't working. So I think a lot of people get kind of confused on how to use fish bites, so I'm going to demonstrate that right now. And also you can use the saltwater fish bites for freshwater fish. So it's basically a long strip. You don't need a very long, especially if you're not going after like huge, obviously you're going to go after huge bluegill, but even huge bluegill won't bite something terribly big. So you don't want to get like a whole long piece, like a worm would be this long, but a worm's not this wide. You're not going to want a piece that big. This is also a lot harder than a worm, and it's probably going to last you 20 to 30 casts over one piece. So you can even put it, I usually put it on like a little jig, but you can also just use it like, the setup with a float and a sinker and a regular hook. But if I've already got a swim or like a little jig on and they're not biting, then I can just put this on here. And the catfish do like this as well. So I mentioned that we only have caught like 6 catfish. A lot of those have been on fish bites. So, and another thing that I used to be confused on, you do not have to refrigerate it. This stays in, I don't know if it's the best for it to stay in the heat, but it still works and it stays in pretty hot weather. You can just cut off a little piece. See, look, I just cut off a little tiny square. That's plenty big, and then just with a little knife, and works perfectly fine. So there's your little lesson on how to use fish bites. I just lost a giant, it was a huge bluegill. Could have been a catfish, actually. But I literally just let it sink and sit there. Seriously. Okie dokie, just like that. It's a skinny little fish. It's got a little dent in its belly. Okay, so another hybrid. Stop flopping. Okay, so let's see if we can catch any more. I just got a monster. Okay. This one, oh, it's got sharp teeth. Yikes. It's huge. I mean, compared to most of the fish in this pond, this is a monster. I mean, a monster. Like, for real, huge. So, beautiful fish. Unfortunately, he is a green sunfish, which eat all the good fish in this pond. So, see how big his mouth is? Tips of his fins are white. So, we may have to throw this one out, but he is a huge, beautiful fish. I wanted to give y'all a quick size measurement because I feel like the camera never gives how good it is. So this is my forearm. It's as long as my forearm. So that's a monster. Okay, so I'm like not even sure. Can y'all see that all those fish crowded right there? It's pretty crazy. Those are tilapia. Those are tilapia right there. Those have just been born in the past week or two. Those are so pretty. I wonder if they'll bite a fish bite. Let's find out. I think we are going to call it a day, probably about to go eat lunch. So, caught a few more small green sunfish. Nothing as big as that one. So, yeah, not too bad. Not used to catching, I mean, they're usually small in the pond. You'll catch a big one every now and then in the catfish, so it's pretty fun. So, I will see y'all on the next video. Until then, y'all have a great week, and I'll see y'all next time. Jesus loves y'all. Goodbye.